so I'm not actually sure what makes me really like the legacy of Kain. In retrospect, it seems to me like Raziel and Kain are kinda childish. Like, verbose kids, very precocious children, but still childish. But I think that one thing that really brings it together is the art direction. It's kinda dark and sorta twisted looking, it's very broody, but Raziel's like toilet bowl blue. So while the setting and surroundings are very grim and muted, the characters have lots of reds and bright purples and blues, and they pop out against everything. I guess what I'm saying here is that if you took a picture of a toilet mint buried in a bunch of autumn leaves, the toilet mint would be the hero of your picture. The art style kinda reminds me of a cartoon or a comic book, and I think that's part of the deal. It's dark, but it's flashy. But anyway, let's get back to our game.
Hello everyone, my name is Taylor.
And I am Ray.
And it has been a year since our last episode, yes! We are dead to the internet and you killed us, Ray, you asshole! No one remembers where we are or what we are doing!
That's Peyton.
Well, I think everybody can see that we're in a circular room with an evil crystal. On this wall were nailed 2 bird heads with throbbing laser eyes. The way they were staring made me feel kinda uncomfortable. I thought to myself, maybe I could put tape over their eyes and I could walk right past them. But then I thought, no, I'm gonna have to turn invisible for this one.
So who marketed this reverse Walmart technology as a security measure?
I know, right? Do you think there's like shops around Nosgoth with one of those giant bird heads over the door, and when you walk up, it opens up the door and makes a ding? Ding ding! Welcome to Sword Stop, home of the swords. Please buy a sword.
Well, I'm sure you don't have to do the bird head. You could probably have them install that same thing on a sword? A sword with eyeballs, I guess?
Well, at least these bird heads are a step up from the golden death ray eyeballs that Janos had installed in his house. These are a lot safer for kids and pets.
Yeah, but you couldn't theoretically put tape over the golden death eyeballs. I know we're gonna go unlock invisibility powers for Raziel, but really, that's a good point. You could just cover the eyes on these things.
Bitch, please, the pillars can't be haunted. They balance out society, you can't hunt that.
These were vampire hunters, mercenaries hired by Mobius to eradicate our kind.
Jiminy, what's that?
Wait, I'm not dangerous. Okay, I tell a lie. I'm pretty dangerous. So are we just going to conveniently ignore how excruciatingly tardy this video is? Yes. But what do you want me to do? Time flies when you're waiting for there to be enough time to get something done.
There is always enough time, Ray. There is never enough time if you don't think there is any. Yes. You just have to do things.
Well, I've got a calendar now, and I have time scheduled out, and I really truly believe I'm gonna get stuff done every day.
You mean more stuff done, surely.
Yes, I mean more stuff. More than the stuff that I already do.
Well, if you slip up anytime in the next couple of months, you're gonna fall off the wagon and go back to being lazy. So I give you, like, 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, huh? Well, guess what? You are not so smart. I'm gonna pencil that in right now on my calendar. 2 weeks. Fall off the wagon. That way, when it happens, you'll be right, and I'll be right, and you're gonna have egg. Based on the appearance of these soldiers, the Elder Squid must have been telling me knock-knock jokes for over 500 years. That meant the pillars were in decay, and Ariel had already been slain. Her spirit would now be haunting those grounds, and perhaps she was the next best person to visit.
So you're scheduled to fail now.
Yep, it's on there. 2 weeks from now, don't follow the schedule. That is self-defeating. Yes, you should schedule in 2 weeks, succeed. Also, launch a spaceship. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna write down launch a spaceship. That's gonna be just after I stop following the schedule. And I don't know about success, but I'm gonna have to move some things around for that.
Ray, just give up on the stupid power-up. You can't reach it yet.
I could see the vampiric symbol for light carved into the temple above me, but it was too high for me to get up there, and once again I found myself thinking, gee, I sure wish someone hadn't ripped my wings off.
Boy, it's too bad you didn't kill one of your brothers and steal his climbing powers, or else you could just climb up those bricks.
Zephon's climbing powers were crap. That's why he evolved his legs away. I wish we could have seen what Raziel would turn into if he kept evolving. Yes. Maybe like a big blue dragon, with no legs, but a full head of hair, and a sexy British accent.
I wonder if Raziel would have started laying eggs like Zephon.
No, only Zephon did that.
Raziel, you jackass!
What?
Get back on the curvy vampire sword, Raziel!
How do you guys know my name?
What? No one knows you! No one knows who you are!
Okay, well, I'm sufficiently confused.
None of us have ever heard of you! Sometimes I wonder exactly how much we deviate from the original dialogue.
In this case, we're pretty much spot on. Raziel walks in the room, these guys burst up out of the floor, and they're like, Raziel, Renegade, Reaver Bearer, and we hear you make a pretty good taco salad. And Raziel goes, how do you know me? And they say, oh, who, us? No, we don't know you, we've never heard of you. Who would know of you? Nobody knows of you. Then Raziel thinks, gee, I wonder what's going on here, and then they fight.
Obviously, it is all clever misdirection. Yes, Raziel's destiny is nothing more than to be sucked into the Reaver, but they want Raziel to think that they are hiding something from him, even though there is nothing left to hide. Yes.
Well, if it's a trick, they're pretty dedicated to the ruse. Raziel kills them and eats their souls. That's pretty much as far as you can go. That is deader than dead.
Well, if you remember, the demons from the last game did that too. Apparently they just don't care. Or maybe they know that the Elder Squid is connected to Raziel, and if they like the Elder Squid, maybe they want to be eaten by the Elder Squid.
Wait, yes. Are these Hilden zombies? Or ancient vampire zombies? Or are they just regular zombies?
Well, their souls are green and they have wings. So, it could be vampires, or it could be Hilden.
The vampires are the one who worship the Elder Squid, so maybe now that Raziel has not sealed himself in the Reaver, they are turned out to be dicks. Yes.
That's a good theory. I mean, obviously nobody is really on Raziel's side. Janos may not have been aware of a plot against Raziel, but let's look at the basics. Raziel is actually not a vampire, he is a human who has been turned into a vampire and then mutated to have wings by the corrupted pillars.
It can't be that he's just an abomination. They had so many murals of a vampire holding the Reaver.
Well, yeah, it's their holy icon. And Raziel thought that that hero was gonna be him because he's blue and he has wings. But actually, the vampires are blue and they have wings. They were just depicting one of their own guys.
Janos knew Raziel's name, though. He called him Raziel, my child.
Okay, sure. They foresaw Raziel's coming, but think about this. Like, you're the ancient time guardian, and you see into the future, and you see this guy who becomes a vampire, and then he becomes a mutated abomination. And one day, his soul's gonna get sucked into the Reaver. Now, why do you depict this guy as the hero of your race?
Because the Elder Squid was messing with them.
Oh, right. I had a good theory going there, and then I forgot that the Elder Squid misdirects everybody.
Well, don't let the obvious facts get in the way. What's your theory?
My theory was that the original hero already came and died, and Raziel just assumed the murals were about the future when really they were about the past.
I have the theory, yes. What if someone is manipulating the Elder Squid?
Peyton, I completely forbid that line of reasoning.
How come you get to come up with some stupid, unfounded theory, but I am forbidden?
Well, you can't just completely make stuff up out of the blue. What character have we seen that could possibly be manipulating the Elder Squid?
There's Mobius, but it would be kind of a lame twist.
Look, Mobius is behind a ton of crap, and the Elder Squid is behind Mobius, and I don't think there should be a guy behind the Elder Squid. That's just crazy.
It is Kain, yes.
Kain? Your theory is that Kain is the guy who's behind the plot to kill Kain?
It is perfect, yes. Who better to match Kain's razor-sharp intellect? Kain would never suspect that Kain was his foe all along.
Peyton is right. It would be a blind spot in Kain's planning. And it would probably be fitting if Kain were actually his own worst enemy.
Man, I don't really want to go Spectral again. I just spent so much time getting out of it. It's got so many disadvantages. Can't swim, can't open doors. How about would you look at that?
I'd really like to kind of know the rules on the Spectral realm. I know there probably aren't any, but remember in the last game when you went Spectral and a stairway was revealed? Like, can you build in the spirit world? How do you do that?
There must be a lot of really careful math involved. Like somebody sits down and they drop a map and they say, this little pebble has to go right here, or otherwise it won't form a stairway, it'll form a statue of Kevin Spacey.
Well, those tentacle arms are just hopeless. And they came out like a mile ahead of you. But there they are again.
They're trying their hardest. I think souls normally just float around and they're easy to catch. I found another old doorway, perched far too high for me to reach. This built-by-winged creatures thing was starting to get kind of annoying.
It's interesting the way the game still relies a lot on backtracking to make itself feel bigger and longer.
I don't think a lot of games do that anymore. It works, but you get scolded for it because everybody kind of knows what you're doing.
And I think we've had this conversation before, but I don't remember because it's been a year. Way to go, right?
Okay, I got it, Peyton.
The sorcerers got really annoying for this game.
Yeah, aside from the long-range attacks, they got a bunch of other spells. I think one of them gets rid of knockback.
That's kind of weird for a single-player game where the character's supposed to be a one-man killing machine. The enemy falling on their ass and being generally useless is kind of important to that.
Back when this game came out, I remember everything was single-player. I mean, unrelated, but I'm just thinking about how nowadays, you want the AI to be good enough to kinda simulate what human play would be like? Mainly because sooner or later you're gonna be attacking a human.
No game ever gets that right, though. They just have the AI cheat enough to get you in the habit of being more efficient.
Why do you guys even bother playing with these stupid robots? Yes. Just go online. Trial by fire is the best way to learn. If someone defeats you, just add them to your friend list and declare an oath of bloody vengeance.
But beating on the AI increases my self-esteem. Besides, it's a good way to learn the game mechanics.
It's also a good way to learn bad habits. Yes, because the AI will let you get away with stupid things. You abuse their bad programming.
Everybody stop. Raziel's touching this thing.
And get off the ledge. For the fact that Raziel said he couldn't climb this high, everybody else sure didn't have any trouble. But anyway though, the thing about online play that I really dislike is that someone has always sat down with the spreadsheet, and they've crunched out exactly the best way to play.
If that is happening, Ray, then you are playing a stupid casualized baby game for stupid casualized babies. Yes. Usually, the harder a game is to learn, the harder it is to game the mechanics. There is too many parts, you see. Yes. But if a game is very casualized, then all you have to do is a little bit of math, and you say, without variance, this is always how you play the best game. Everything is solved, and if you advise playing outside the meta, you are insulting everyone's intelligence.
Yeah, you see, this is why I don't play Civilization with you, Peyton. You always burn everything to the ground. And the catch is that you either have to do the math and you learn the meta for these really simple games, or the game is like really complex and hard to learn and you've got to do a ton of research.
Well, I am sorry that not every game is a Harrison Bergeron dystopia, Ray. Yes. If you don't like it, then you should just play Cookie Clicker.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't keep up with all the streamers, but Cookie Clicker has a solved meta too, doesn't it?
Taylor, please. It's a very complex game.
So here we have the Vampire Stonehenge. Yes, presumably. What do they use it for, to worship the Elder Squid?
Do you think a race that mastered magic would also be able to master a calendar? Probably it wasn't used for planting crops.
We know they had human slaves, so I imagine them sitting up there on a bird's eye view saying, yeah, move that rock slightly to the left. Okay, set that one down on top. Alright, good. Yeah, the Elder Squid's gonna love this rock thing we did.
Stone circles were all the rage back in the olden days. All the artists were doing them. That was before you started painting.
The artistic message was that there was no artistic message. It was all just kind of a joke on art critics.
But see, the art critics were right. That's the irony, is that it all kind of folds back in on itself. The whole thing was pointless, and when the art critics say this is dumb and makes no sense, that is a legitimate argument.
I think that, except the very specific situations when an artist was trying to make someone else look bad, when people do self-defeating artwork, they're choosing to fail because they're afraid to try something that's actually bold and meaningful.
Oh, you're just saying that because you're exactly the kind of person that they're trying to make fun of. But no, I agree. It's like, not every joke can be the aristocrats.
Not every joke? I think that basically almost no joke should be the aristocrats. 99.9% of the time, that's not a funny routine.
What is the aristocrats? Yes. Okay, the aristocrats is basically a joke on your audience. Most of the time, it's a really awful story full of terrible gross-out humor that the listener's not really going to enjoy. And then at the end, they say, oh, what do you call this joke? And you go, it's the aristocrats. Unless you're some kind of idiot, you almost never tell this joke to an actual paying audience. You tell it to other comedians because they're more likely to know what it is, and then they roll their eyes and they go, oh, the aristocrats, okay.
And the art world has some similar stuff to the aristocrats, but it's not quite the same.
As I stepped through this mysterious portal, I thought to myself that this is the kind of thing you wouldn't want to stick your tongue in. But I didn't really have a tongue anymore, so I went without worry. It was full of cinnamon swirls. When I emerged on the other side, I found myself in an enclosed chamber. Upon the walls were painted murals of vampire history. And as with every other set of vampire ruins, it was the exact same scene. The one and only pivotal thing that apparently happened to the vampires. Here was this guy with black eyeshadow holding a fireball above his head like a heavy metal album. Then you had these guys on the background. I guess fireballs were a big thing during that war. And here they showed their fabled hero wielding the Reaver. I had thought this was to be my destiny, but then the Reaver tried to eat me.
I know we discussed this before, but more and more, it seems like Raziel should realize he ought to just get away from the prophecies in the Reaver and make up his own answers.
But that would involve admitting to some people that Raziel doesn't have all the answers. Besides, the pillars are involved, and therefore Kain is involved, so a lot of these prophecies have something to do with Kain's destiny. So Kain would never let it go, it's about him.
Why would it be about Kain? Destiny said that Raziel killed Kain.
The Kain series is called Legacy of Kain, yes.
I wasn't really sure what was going on in this mural. There was 4 vampires, and they were all wearing corsets. Didn't have any pants on. I don't know. Uh-oh. Looks like this other portal got blown up.
Man, they just don't make those portals like they used to. I remember when you could expect the Chosen One to go from whatever palace this is to whatever palace that was, and he would just collect all the power-ups in a single sitting.
Of course you have to build 2 of every temple for the hero, because he loses his powers after the first ones, yes.
Oh, whoa, what?
What happened?
I got tackled. Oh no,
flip your wings!
Oh no,
Flip your wings!
Raziel, no! Did I mention this game's a little bit glitchy sometimes?
Guess you gotta go back and do some of that over again.
Oh well, I guess here's a good place to stop for now. Thanks for playing with us, everybody.